All right, so we are going to work on going through ab exercises that won't cause any lower back pain, or if you normally get some lower back pain when you do ab exercises, we're going to work on figuring out how to avoid that. So, um, the best way to start, you can just follow along with me right now. We'll go through some exercises together. The best way to start here is going to be lying on your back with knees bent. So, feet are planted. This should be a pretty comfortable position. And I want you to take one hand and just set that right below your lower back. And we're simply going to start the movement by flattening your lower back down against your hand to squish your hand. And another useful way to do this, if you have a partner, is to take like a hand towel or a gym towel, and if you fold that gym towel in half long way, so hot dog direction, put one end of the towel right under your lower back, and then have your partner tug on the end of the towel to make sure that that they can't pull that towel out, because that tells you if your back is flattened down against the floor and you can keep that towel in place, that tells you that your abs are working hard to maintain that position. So okay, so with a hand under your lower back, flattening your lower back down against your hand, focus on using your abs, bracing your abs like somebody's going to punch you in the stomach, and have those abs do the work of keeping your lower back flat. And now from there, while keeping that back flat, you're going to bring your shins up so that you're making a tabletop position with your legs. If in the process of bringing those feet off the floor, if you felt that lower back lift away from the floor, that means that you lost that engagement through your abs that we were looking for. So start again, back flat against the floor, bracing abs tight, and then just bring one foot at a time off the floor. So from here, we're going to start with just marching, meaning that we're just tapping one heel down to the floor at a time. And the entire time that you go through this exercise, your lower back has to stay flat against the floor. We want lower back to stay pain-free. And if you imagine that you're crunching your knees back up to your chest, that's going to help you keep your abs engaged, so that abs are doing the work, not hip flexors. We're not getting accessory muscle use here, no cheating. If this is pretty simple, now we're going to work on dropping both heels to the floor and bringing them up again at the same time. Again, while keeping abs doing the work and keeping lower back flat against the floor. And if you're able to do this, then we're able to cruise on to the next exercise. If that's tough, and if that's where you feel your lower back lift away from the floor, then you go back to marching 1 foot at a time, working on 30 to 60 seconds of that at a time, and go for 3 rounds of 30 to 60 seconds. Once you're able to do that, then you can start progressing forward to something a little bit harder, which is what we'll do right now. So we're going to make that tabletop with the shins again. Again, remember that your lower back has to stay in contact with the floor. You've got to keep those abs working the whole time. And we're going to do what's called a dead bug or dying bug. So I've got a timer going for a minute, and we're extending opposite arm and leg. So right arm and left leg extend at the same time. Lower that leg down as far as you can, and then bring it back in and switch. And this way you can take that extended leg down pretty close to the floor while keeping your lower back completely flat against the floor. Abs are working the entire time. Let's see how we're doing on time here. 20 seconds to go, so keep going. You're almost there. You're doing great. Another thing to think about is exhaling as you pull that knee back into your chest. That's going to help you keep your abs engaged a little bit better. We're almost there. And that's a minute, so set your feet down. Take a little break here. Let those abs recover because we're going to do 2 more rounds like that. So in total, it'll be 3 rounds of 60 seconds. Got a plane going overhead right now. 3 rounds, 60 seconds. This is a really nice way to focus on doing your abs without lower back pain, and then also helping you strengthen your abs so that when you do other ab exercises, you can do so without any lower back pain. All right, so come on back to your dead bug position. We're going for another minute. So hands toward the sky, tabletop with your shins, and go. Exhaling as you pull that knee back into your chest. Lower back is glued to the floor the entire time. Abs are braced like somebody's going to punch you in the stomach. We're not just flexing the six-pack, we're really bracing through the core to activate those muscles. If at any point this is causing lower back pain, then you just do a smaller movement. You can still extend one leg at a time, you just won't go as far. Another thing to think about is, are your feet pointed, your toes pointed, or are your feet flexed? Everybody's different. For some people, flexed feet feels better. Let's rest there. For some people, flexed feet feels better. For other people, toes pointed feels better. Sometimes you'll get popping or clicking in your hips, right in the front of the hip flexors, depending on the position of your feet. So you can always experiment with trying both positions. All right, a little break time's over. We got 1 more round here. So hands toward the sky again. Tabletop for the shins. Breathing as we go. And now that we're in the 3rd round, your abs may be fatiguing. You might notice that if you extend that leg all the way, okay, there's that familiar lower back pain. So remember, you just keep that movement a little bit smaller. Still building up the endurance for your core to get through the minute, but we're keeping those legs in a range that is doable. We're almost there. 20 seconds to go. Remember to try either pointing your feet or flexing your feet. See which combo works better for you. Keep on going. And time. All right. So the dead bugs are done. And now we're going to work on stepping it up to a plank position, because this is another move where we tend to get lower back pain popping up. So just like we practice flattening that lower back against the floor, we've got to practice that same movement for a plank, meaning that if we've got a natural arch in the back, we've got to use the abs, tightened abs, to flatten out that back. So your rib cage, the bottom of your rib cage, top of your pelvis need to be drawn together using the abs. So if I were to get into my plank position and I've got this nice arch in the back, that means that my abs are not working, they're relaxed. So instead, what I would do is, maybe I'm even starting on my knees, I've got to squeeze buns tight, brace that core tight to take the arch out of my back. So now if I were to come into a full plank position, squeezing glutes as tight as I can, bracing my core as tight as I can, remember pulling rib cage toward my pelvis to keep that flat back. That's going to get rid of the lower back pain, ideally, and that's going to keep my abs working harder. And because I'm flexing my glutes, because I'm squeezing the cheeks, I'm also getting my hips involved. So let's work on 3 1-minute planks here. If at any point you need to take a break during that minute, I want you to either drop to your knees. Or if you're doing the plank on your knees, just come down for a little micro break before coming back up to complete that minute. So let's get into the plank position. Flat back, buns tight, and go. So squeeze cheeks. Think of pushing your heels toward the floor, bracing your abs like somebody's going to punch you in the stomach. And then imagine that you're pushing the floor away from you with those forearms. My hands are separated. I'm making two fists. I'm not clasping hands. And my elbows are directly below my shoulders. They're the same width as my shoulders. If you're getting some of those little shakes, it's okay. It's a good sign. It means muscles are working. We just want to maintain the pain-free position. So we've got 15 seconds to go here. 5 more seconds. Good, let's take a break. Nice. So, like I was saying, if partway through you start to feel some of that familiar lower back pain, you can always come down to your knees to finish up that minute. You can always take a little micro break. But more than anything, we've just got to keep those abs working throughout the plank and keep glutes tight. So we're going for a second minute here. Ready, set, go. So go through the checklist here. Abs are tight, pulling my rib cage toward my pelvis. Buns are flexed, right? I'm squeezing cheeks. And I'm keeping that flat lower back. So I'm taking the natural arch out of my lower back for this movement. Keeping core braced, steady breathing, pushing the floor away from me. Heels are pushing toward the floor. 20 seconds to go. If you're on your knees here, still a super useful plank right now. Just hold that position. 5 more seconds. Good, keep holding that. And time. Good, so a little break here. We're going to do one more still. What you should be feeling right now is more of the, ab burn sort of sensation. Maybe your buns are getting tired from keeping them tight, but we definitely don't want that to cause the lower back pain that we're trying to avoid. So if in that last minute, if you were in the full plank and you were getting some of that lower back pain, on this last one I want you to try from your knees. So one more time. Come on back to that plank position. Ready, set, go. And if we're on knees here, still going to keep buns tight. We're still thinking of rocking that pelvis into a position where if I had a tail, I'm tucking my tail between my legs, taking that natural arch out of the lower back for this movement. Bracing like somebody's going to punch me in the stomach. Buns stay tight. I'm still breathing. Still pushing the floor away. And feet can either be gently resting on the floor. Maybe you want to tuck your toes under so you can kind of push back into the floor with your feet. We just want to make sure that there's no sagging of the hips here, no arching of the back. We're just staying locked in. Everything's tight. 10 more seconds here. Time. Good. All right. So if you can work on mastering those movements, you can still practice what we did today, 3 rounds of a minute for each exercise. Build up to the more challenging option, and just always keep in mind that as you do that, okay, are my abs working? Am I keeping that neutral spine, that flat lower back? And if anything's getting tired, it should be my abs. I should be feeling that in my lower back. Give this a try. Let me know what you think, and we'll do this again soon. Bye.